What's up, gays, straights, and other days? It's Mally. I'm back with another episode of Lady in Mystery, and the theme we're currently hearing is worrying me a little bit because last time we heard this theme, really bad things happened. So let's just get right on into this. 2 days after the Qing delegates arrived, the problem broke out when they were presenting the congratulatory poem. They said some phrases were disdaining the mother of the Qing emperor, the Empress, and Qing delegates. Qing delegates looked fine and happy when a young official recited the congratulatory poem with a resonant voice, but their faces turned pale when they saw the phrases of the poem. The Translation Academy got the blame right away. Oh, this is how we're ruining his life, isn't it? What do you mean I humiliated the Qing delegates? When Pyung-ho hurriedly went to his office fluttering his dopo, some lecturers lowered their heads not knowing what to do. I think some letters were wrong. It was supposed to be a blessing, but somehow it looked like you were calling the Empress's name directly. Since I've read the congratulatory poem several times, I memorized the phrases and some parts were changed. The phrase Jinhuru with the letter Jin, which means blessing to you, was replaced to Nyuhuru and make it short. Nyuhuru is a family name of the Empress. Some phrases were completely changed. Okay, so we disdain the Empress, and we call their country Daehong, which means big country, but the letter Dae, that means big, was changed to the letter Yi, meaning barbarians. And the letter Hong happened to be the letter that was used in Emperor Qinglong's name. It was too much of disrespect for it to be a coincidence. Qing is sending a lot of delegates to Chosen each year, and Chosen sends their delegates to Qing more than 5 times a year, and they send even more government officials to each other. One problem with the congratulatory poem wouldn't harm the relationships between these two countries, but the person who wrote that congratulatory poem would have faced a different consequence. Who wrote down this congratulatory poem? This congratulatory poem had never been outside this office. He had never shown it to anyone, and the writing was here even at the moment he changed the name of the author. I think the students from the Translation Academy wrote it down under the supervision of the soldiers. Get them right here. Lecturers got flustered and got out, and Jung Pyung-ho left alone in his office. The real author Kim Sung-do has already gone down to his hometown, and Jung Pyung-ho got rid of all the evidence himself that Kim Sung-do was the real author. Did Kim Sung-do write it like this on purpose to get revenge? No, that's not possible. He read it thoroughly before he submitted it, and there was nothing wrong about the writing. And Kim Sung-do wrote the congratulatory poem not knowing that he was going to be robbed of this writing. There's no way that he was going to commit treason with his name on it. Something must have happened right before the writing was submitted. Maybe somebody copied the letter wrong, or maybe the ink on the letter ran. Jung Pyung-ho thought of all the vague possibilities and then suddenly looked up. The original texts. He remembered Kim Sung-do's voice he heard right in this office. I didn't ask that. What original text did you refer to? Lee Myung-bok's poem and Choi Yeon-ju's essay, and he said he was referring to other original texts when he was writing this. He can't avoid getting punished even if he finds the original text, but he could get away with the charge of treason. If he doesn't get executed as a traitor, then he can gain his feet in any way. He can work 5, 10 more years and start it again even if he loses everything. He started with nothing on his hand in the first place. Is there anyone outside? Do you need anything, sir? The original text. Get me the original text Kim Sung-do used at the Translation Academy. Well, actually, Kim Sung-do didn't give back the books he used yet. That's another problem right now. He didn't give back the whole box of original text. What? That prick already took away the original text. Then he got cramps on his shoulders and started to feel dizzy. It was not a coincidence. Someone is involved in this. Jung Pyung-ho closed his eyes tightly. Get out. Find out where Kim Sung-do is right now. Excuse me? Bring Kim Sung-do to me now. He couldn't find the original text after a day. He spent the whole day giving orders to people to find the original text and to find the trace of Kim Sung-do. He couldn't find the trace of Kim Sung-do when he was supposed to go down to his hometown. He couldn't have done this on his own. It's as if someone in Hanyang purposely erased his trace. The situation was that bad. Who is going to hurt him? There's no one left that could possibly hurt him. He destroyed anything that gets in his way and trampled everything that might cause him trouble later. He burnt them all and got rid of everything, to the last grain. He kept his position like that. But who? As he was vaguely feeling someone's malice, some stranger called Pyung-ho from the back. When he turned around aggressively like a wild beast, Jung Pyung-ho saw a harmless young scholar standing there. Are you looking for this? What is that? The original text of Lee Myung-bok's poem. While he looked at it with surprise, the scholar slowly moved his hand. There was something shining in his hand, and there was a little ball of cotton. That is a fire bead. He realized what it was after the poem was on fire. A crispy, burnt poem became a ball of fire and fell down to the ground before Zhang Pyung-ho could even try to stop it. How? What are you gonna do now? He got so flustered that he couldn't say anything, and then he came to his senses. That bastard. You just made a big mistake. You are the one who made a mistake. The congratulatory poem is not going to be the only thing with your name on it. A new problem will happen every day. Yesterday was the congratulatory poem, and today is going to be your signature. And tomorrow, there's going to be a congratulatory message for the banquet. Do you think this is the only original text you have to find? Scholar put out another book from his pocket. Suddenly, Zhang Pyung-ho felt like his blood was soaring up, and then slowly closed his eyes and opened again. That little prick. He could have killed him right away, but if he did that, he would be executed even before he could find where the rest of the original texts were. If you want to get any of the original texts, then think carefully about what you should give me instead before you come find me. They say translators have a business mindset. What a fool. If you disrespect the delegates from the big country just to get me in trouble, all the Translation Academy could be in danger. I don't care. If I was going to be afraid of that, I wouldn't have to wait for 5 years in the first place. And you've been getting rid of all kinds of things if things go against your way. Why can't I do the same? Who are you? There was no answer. No, I don't care who you are. Do you think I would be afraid of a prick like you? I don't know who you are, but I will get you. I will get... Why do you even ask me if I think you would be afraid? Did I ask you to be afraid of me? I offered you help. The scholar laughed out loud and bent over. It's kind of funny that you even refused the help. You were obviously in trouble, so I offered to give you the original texts. Isn't that good news? I was thinking so hard how I can help you and your family. And you don't know my sincere heart and just get mad at me. How ungrateful. Don't you think so? The scholar sounded so sarcastic and scornful, helping him and his family. Family. Then he came to his senses. Zhang Pyung-ho came at him without thinking, then stopped before taking a few steps. My family is now... He got speechless. He didn't have a chance to go to his house. His wife and his baby must be waiting for him in his house in Western Village. Think about what your family would have to go through when you are under investigation for treason. When I thought about it, I felt bad for them, so I let them move. I wrote a letter with your handwriting and told them you wanted me to deliver those messages. And they followed me so well. What did you do to my family? I just gave them some boat tickets and a promissory note so they can take the boat first and go down to Sunshun. I'm not sure if that little lady will be okay without her husband. Making them wait in the rural area in the south? All right, I got the tickets right, but I didn't have enough money for the promissory note. So I took the liberty of forging Songbong's promissory note and gave it to them. I mean, everyone knows their promissory note is good, right? I hope they don't get caught. They might be in big trouble if they got caught using Songbong's promissory note that is forged. I wish I could go find them and tell them the promissory note is forged, but I can't since you are stopping me like this. While looking at the young scholar's face that is no longer smiling, Zhang Pyung-ho finally took out his sword. I'm gonna kill that guy in this spot. The moment he jumped at him without thinking, someone jumped off the tree and stopped Zhang Pyung-ho's sword. Ugh. Let's just talk it out, shall we? What do you want? Money? Government position? I don't want anything. Just give up everything you have. What? Quit your job and sell your house. Give up your family, too. You're an old man without a decent job. You can't have a young Yangban wife. If you give up everything, then I'll give you the original texts. Then you'll save your life and you'll be able to go back to your hometown and farm some land with the rest of the money you have. Ugh. Then the scholar mentioned the name of the town that no one would know. Go back to Busapui. Zhang Pyung-ho threw his sword to the ground, but he didn't answer anything and just turned around. His body was swaying and leaving footprints everywhere. He's not going to listen to you. I can tell by his eye. I know. He won't give up. I waited for half a day near the port with Iljime out of courtesy. I was going to send his family back if Jung Pyung-ho gave up everything and came to us. Huh. And Jung Pyung-ho didn't come to save his family to the end. I will not listen to that prick. I'll just think that there's no way to find the original text anymore. Sir. I'll report them to the Poshung. I'll tell them someone replaced my congratulatory message and moved the policeman with as much money as I have. I'll make the police catch them. Sir! If you report you lost the documents that important, you're going to get hurt too. I don't care. I'm going to get them. And Translation Academy would have to take the blame. You'll take care of that. Send someone to Poshung right now. Jung Pyung-ho might try to catch us. He'll try to find out who we are and have a head-on match. Don't you need to hide? You should hide first and... No. I'm not gonna hide. I'm gonna reveal myself. Right before the curfew tonight. There was a noise behind the folding screen in Junghuso, and Iljime walked out with her eyes closed after changing clothes. She tied up her hair that was loosened around her neck and tied up the string of her old bamboo hat tightly. I'll step up. The next day, people in the tavern were rumbling. There are said to be some pictures of Iljime's ume flowers scattered on all the streets in Hanyang. It was an empty note that didn't say anything. Iljime's empty note became the talk of the town since there are delegates in Hanyang now. What do you think Iljime is going to do? There are his pictures everywhere on the streets. Both Poshungs have to guard for the delegates, but now they have to take down the posters too. It must be so hectic. I heard that he sent a warning letter only to Poshung. A warning letter? Yes, my friend Officer Choi saw it. He said Iljime put some paper with a lot of contents written down on it. He said the contents were confidential. The plan is simple. Just because Jung Pyung-ho reported us to the Poshung doesn't mean that we have to fight against Poshung. We're going to stimulate the anxiety of people in higher positions than Jung Pyung-ho. By higher positions, you mean? I'm going to make everyone who's in charge of greeting Queen delegates from ministers to all the high officials extremely anxious. You said I shouldn't write anything on my posters and just give one letter to Poshung? Yes, just one letter is enough. And the door from the office of Jung Pyung-ho, who hasn't slept all night, opened. Jung Pyung-ho was leaning his forehead against his arms on the desk. He looked up as he heard his assistant, who just ran into the office panting. Did you report them? I told you not to be afraid of spending money. Sir, that's... The assistant hesitated a little and then lowered his head. They say they're going to close his case. What? Jung Pyung-ho got up, fluttering his black dopo. His wide shoulders, that he was able to maintain despite his age, started to shake slowly. Get ready to go out. I'm going to ask the Minister of the Ministry of Justice directly. He gave the order himself. The minister did. The letter you are going to write the Poshung is simple. Tell them you are going to rob the Translation Academy soon. The higher-ups must have had a lot in their mind regarding what happened there, and they won't be able to afford a thief like Iljime. It's confidential that there was a minor setback while greeting Queen delegates because of the Translation Academy, a mistake that can never be public. If Iljime got involved in this and exposed that to the public, then people would know all about it. They'll talk about it and the officials will lose face. The old officials might have some disgrace on their names. The Supreme Court, Poshung, and Uposhung, they all know more than enough about my behavior. They had to take down my posters dozens of times and they've been in enough troubles. They know what happens if they rub against Iljime. Any powerful figures will come up to the same conclusion. The only way to deal with this is to cover this incident as soon as possible. Is everyone going to abandon me now? Are they cutting their tail now? Is this what I get for working for them for 10 years like a dog? Pyung-ho threw the inkstone. The inkstone bounced off the wall, fell down to the ground, and broke into pieces. He got anxious and kept walking round and round the same circle. I can get another wife and make another baby. I can get my position again. How long did it take for me to get here? 10 years? 20 years? Can I live that long? I can start from the start. Then suddenly he thought of that scholar's voice. Go back to Busapli. Who are you to mention my hometown? He went to Busapli for the last time a long time ago. His friend's voice from that day started to strangle him. Unsu. If things don't work out for you, then you need hometown to come back to. Pyung-ho went inside the office and opened the box. There were bloody clothes that only his friend Unsu was wearing when he died. He wrapped some hairs with the clothes after cutting them off from a beheaded head. Dried hairs were flowing down between the fingers into the floor. When he first left his hometown, there was a friend he loved and his single mother. He promised himself that he wouldn't come back before he became successful. He thought it would only take about 1 to 2 years at first. How could he have abandoned his hometown if he knew that he was going to leave for 10 years? But the road to success was so long that even after wandering for 10 years, it seemed to have taken a long way to go. One day when he was on his way to do some wrongful errand, he got so tired and stopped by his hometown Busapli. His mother was long dead, and his old friend whose face was still pale greeted Pyung-ho. "I'll keep this place. Please come visit often. I miss our time together a lot." That friend told him to come back anytime whenever he felt exhausted with sad eyes. He said he would build another room for Pyung-ho to come to stay whenever he wants when he gets old. But that friend got scared and sold him out as soon as he found out what kind of person Jung Pyung-ho is. He sent his servant and tried to report him to the government office. Jung Pyung-ho closed the clothes. "I almost quit everything then. I thought I was really done if things were already so bad that you were willing to report me. I even had this weak thought that maybe I should get caught and die. But I'd rather die now. But I survived through even after killing you. I can't go down like this now. Now I have nowhere to go back." Jung Pyung-ho ran away a day before the soldiers came to get him. He abandoned all his money and just ran out of Hanyang empty-handed. If he stayed in Hanyang, he wouldn't have been able to save his life since he was accused of treason. But even if he got out of Hanyang, he had to live as a wanted criminal forever. He became a wanted criminal when he was already old, so there was no way for him to come back to Hanyang ever again. But he would live the rest of his life with false hope. People were wondering why he didn't kill himself even after losing everything. But then the curiosity died down soon enough. No one really remembered him anymore. And I didn't feel satisfied as much as I expected. While I was lying down on the hill of Southern Village and closing my eyes for several days, I could feel the shadow above me. "Oh, hello." "Hey, Guardian." "What are you doing?" "Thinking about my childhood, wondering when I should take this gat off." "What? Are you not going to run Jung Huso anymore?" "Of course I will. How else am I going to make a living? 5 years ago, I thought everything would end when I found my revenge. I thought my life would suddenly go back to my normal life before I started to disguise as a guy. But nothing in my life has changed except that Jung Pyung-ho disappeared in Hanyang. I still wore a big gat every morning, put ankle bands on my ankles, and opened Jung Huso habitually. It's just that I'll take this heavy gat off someday, and you are going to throw that sword away. Someday." With my words, Iljime smiled wickedly. "Are you saying I should get married?" "Maybe." Then I burst laughter as well. "No, what kind of wild dream is that?" "What?" "Well, I don't think you can. I already told Mako to spread the rumor even to other areas that you have severe tuberculosis that passes down to generations. So I think everyone knows not to get married to Lady An from Western Village." "What? You..." "I got permission from you. You told me to tell people that your disease can pass down to generations. I do it right when I do things. So, you'll never get any marriage arrangement." "I meant only to An-si. Gosh, what should I do with you?" "Marry me." Now, no matter how healthy you might look, people will just think you're being desperate to cover the rumor about you. Your family won't be able to arrange a marriage at all. "Huh?" "You can walk around outside as much as you want, and you can fight your family if you want. I'll help you." "Hey, I was gonna do that anyway. I was just telling my family that I'm gonna refuse any marriage arrangement from now on. I should punish you." Iljime grabbed my throat and shook it. Then something dropped out of my clothes. Iljime reached her hands and picked the fire bead I dropped on the grass. "Hey, don't drop this everywhere. Keep it." The bead was cold and Iljime's hand was warm. "Thank you." "For what?" I don't know. I don't know yet. I'll tell you after 10 years. As I closed my eyes again, I could hear her taking a breath. Now I realize that all the days ahead of me will be different from yesterday for the first time. Iljime true ending. The water flows, but the river stays. Huh. And there's the credits. Okay, I'm gonna let this music go. Okay, I know I didn't say like much in terms of commentary towards the end of that, but like it just felt so dramatic and so important, and I didn't want to like break up the momentum with like my little bits of commentary here and there, but like, oh my god. Y'all were right. That was so much more satisfying in terms of revenge. Like, I actually feel like we got proper revenge because, yeah, he's not dead, but Jung Kyung-ho's life is completely destroyed. Like, there is no hope for him now, and I think that's like the best possible revenge. You know, I actually quite loved that route a lot. It definitely was different in terms of what I was expecting, especially because this game is marketed as more of a romance, and that one, yeah, you're right. It did feel more like a friendship, but I also feel like there was enough like subtext to be like, you could make it romantic if you wanted to. Like, you could read into that subtext. Like, you could say that this is like the beginning of their romance rather than the romance building throughout. Like, there is a chance that something new could form there. Maybe like I could see it happening. It would take a lot longer, but I feel like we're just like at the start of it, and I think that's amazing. But the great thing about this route as well, that I think is amazing, and I don't know if this was intentional or not, but, oh, thank you for thanking me, even though, thank you, honestly, for making such a good game. 40 years later. Oh, wait, we got a cutscene. Okay, I'm gonna interrupt my post thoughts for a second. 40 years later. I wrote Iljime's tombstone about 2 years ago. Wait, what? I retrieved her body after the family funeral and made her tomb on the hill of Southern Village. It took twice a long time now that I'm older and no one could find Guardian's tomb easily. Wait, what? Wait, she's dead. Guardian, there are still posters of Iljime on the streets and people are still talking about Iljime. Isn't it interesting? You are dead, but you're not. Only I knew that some other kids were talking over what Guardian started first with the same name. I put down the branch of ume flower that was already covered while climbing up the hill, and some honey-preserved fruit that Guardian and I used to have together on the ground and sat on the hill. The sun was nice today. Inside my wrinkly hand was a fire bead that still has the light from the old days. You said the water flows, but the river stays. A lot of things will change or pass by us, but there are some things that never change. I can still hear stories about Iljime everywhere I go. This fire bead is the same as well. I could sleep through 2 days and even 3 days these days. I began to come to Guardian's tomb often because I started to get worried that I might not wake up again after falling asleep. I took care of the tomb and made the tombstone. The woman's tomb with the only name on it in Chinese letters was quite shabby, but since her friend was taking care of it so well, it was at least neat as she was when she was alive. But I'm still a little lonely. You said some things are always the same, like this river, no matter how much the water flows. Now my life is flowing like the water, but I still haven't seen the shape of the rapids. You left your name in Hanyang you liked. I'm now thinking about what the thing is that doesn't change for me. I made a good decision coming to Hanyang. The one thing I still don't regret until now is, even before I finished my sentence, I was falling asleep. As I leaned against the burial mound and looked up, the sun was shining on my face. I didn't know we would be friends either. I'll be back soon, so don't go anywhere. I could hear the young voice of hers, and I realized that I didn't have to say anything anymore. Now I can go meet my old friend soon in a long time. My heart beat really hard twice. Wait for me when I come find you. It won't take that long. When I closed my eyes, the wind was blowing from the hill. The wind swept down the hill and smoothed down every alley in Hanyang. Wait, what's happening? What? Okay, I wasn't expecting that epilogue. That kind of like interrupted my train of thought there, but aw, that was a nice little extra scene. I was not expecting that at all. Wow, that just, oh my goodness. Well, that kind of actually helps my next point in what I was saying. So we don't really get to see asexuality represented in games that much, which really sucks because we should have more representation for everyone, but that especially. And like, I don't know if they did this on purpose, but I feel like Iljime's route is like the perfect ace route because it's not overtly sexual and it really can be read as like just a friendship or, you know, like just a partner that's not like necessarily like all the like overtly like romantic stuff, you know? I don't know if I'm making any sense. Like, I personally don't know a lot about asexuality, but I feel like from what I do know, Iljime's route is like perfect for that, which I think is pretty amazing, intentional or not. But that was so much fun. I had so much fun on Iljime's route. I laughed so much, and I definitely needed that after the tragedy that was Yurin's route. I will say, she is still, even after all the women, she's still my favorite. She's still the one that I love the most, but this was fun. So, we're still not done yet. Oddly enough, like, I'm not ready to say goodbye. We do still have the revenge route to do, which will be interesting because that one doesn't have any romance, I don't believe. And then there's gonna be apparently bonus scenes because we'll have finished the game at that point, I think. Unless I have to get other endings, in which case I'll do a video dedicated to that as well because I just love this game so much. But thank you so much, whoever happens to be watching this. I can't believe we are past 50 parts on this series. Your support means the absolute world to me. Like, it's one thing for me to be loving it, but the fact that y'all love this series as much as I do. This is my favorite series. I'm gonna say that now. This is my pride and my joy, and I'm so glad that you're here with me. I'll see you around for the next route. Bye.